Hi everyone, Sonia here, and you're watching Pouring with Sonia. And I thought I'd do a flip cup for you today and show you the process I go through. And I'm doing a Batman theme inspired pour today. So my colors are a Mars Black. I just have acrylic. And then I have gray, Otter Gray. And then I have, it's 50-50 because I ran out of it. I wanted to use all of this cadmium yellow DPU, but I didn't have enough. So I had a half ounce of this and a half ounce of Artist Loft's Deep Yellow. I got a little bit of a cold, so I'm sounding a little nasally. Sorry about that. And then I have some silver just because it's a superhero and you might need a little bit of glam. DC Comics are so dark. And then for the blue, I have phthalo blue. I thought was a little bright, so I mixed in a little bit of black with that to darken it up a little, like more of a navy blue. And these colors are all mixed 1-to-1, 1 part pouring medium to 1 part paint. And then you'll see there's a lot, and I measure them by weight, and then I thin with water. And the consistencies are all over the board, so I just want to show you how I do that. And my pouring medium, you can't really read this, I just mix up big batches in like these soup containers. The pouring medium for this one's going to be 70% Elmer's glue all and 30% water. I've made sure my canvas is level. I have push pins on the back to keep it off the pad here. And okay, so I mixed up my black. The black is a great consistency, but it's hard to see the dark colors. So I'm going to show you one that I think is just right. So for a flip cup, I'd rather have a little bit too much paint than not enough because I don't want to have to overstretch my cells. And I'd rather have them a little on the thick side than on the thin side so they don't get muddied up. And the cells that come up keep nice crisp lines and colors. So here, hopefully, with this yellow, the consistency I like is to have a bit of a mound. So you can see, oops, that was an air bubble, hold on, how it's leaving a mound before it drops down. And that's what I like for a flip cup. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. Tilted a little in case you couldn't, or in case my stick was blocking it. But that's the consistency I like. And I have that with my black, my yellow, and my blue. They're all that same kind of consistency. The blue might be a little bit thinner, but not really. It's pretty good. However, the gray is pretty thick. It's leaving a little bit more of a mound before it drops down. In other words, it's piling up before it drops down more. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. Not a lot. In fact, I have water mixed with like a touch of Floetrol. It's probably like 10% Floetrol to 90% water, just a touch. And I'm just going to add a little bit at a time in here. Stir it up. Because I think half the battle with paint pouring is finding the right consistency of your paint for whatever technique you're going to do, because they're not all the same. I don't have the same consistency for swipes as I do for flip cups. So that just that little bit. So I don't know if you could see before, it was really like it would build up the mound before it would drop down, and now that is dropping down. It's got a little bit of a mound, but it's dropping down. So that's much better. Just that little bit helped it. And I want to have fairly consistent consistencies between them all. But any metallic that you use is going to be much thicker because there's mica powders in it. Now look at this. This is like, holy cow. That's 1-to-1. That's like not going to work at all. So I'm going to put quite a bit of water in that to thin it out, but you only want to add a little bit at a time. You don't want to add it all at once because it might not incorporate well. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time until I get a consistency. But I thought this might be useful for you to see just kind of how to come up with the right consistencies. Now, there's nothing saying that this is going to work out, these colors together, but I have got a nephew by marriage down in Austin, Texas. That's a bit of a superhero DC comic, I believe Batman in particular fan. So I thought it might be kind of fun to do a pour with those colors in it and then just do like the Batman emblem in the middle. And see if it turns out. And if it doesn't, well then it doesn't. It's still so thick. So we're just going to keep on adding a little bit at a time. And really, silver isn't part, like I could get away with just those 4 colors. Silver's not really part of Batman's. It's gray, navy blue, yellow, and then the bat signal itself is black, and plus I need a contrast color and a heavier paint for the others to kind of sit on. But I just felt like doing silver because it's still, you know, it's kind of a gray. A little bit more because I can't believe how thick this was. But now this was a nicer quality paint. Did I show you the silver? I used the Arteza silver, and it's a much better quality than like the acrylics or even the Artist Loft. So you're getting a more heavily pigmented paint to begin with, and then you're getting the mica powders in there for this metallic, and it just, so you can say, oh yeah, just mix it up 1 to 1, but you do have to still finally getting some flow out of it, but it's still too much of a mound. And so this should do it right here for sure. What I do for the amount of paint that I use is I take length times width. This is a 12 by 12, so that's 144. And then divide that by 16 for flip cups, because again, I want to have maybe a little bit more than a little bit too little paint, because I don't want to overstretch the cells. And if you have extra paint, I can just tip a little bit off, but if I don't have enough, I'm going to have to overstretch them and maybe distort them, and I'd like to try and keep nice, round, beautiful, what I call juicy cells. Maybe a tiny bit more. Sorry guys, this might be a little boring, but oh no. I didn't want that much, so I poured a little bit back. I usually pour it into my cap and then pour it into the paint, just because that can happen where you spooge a little bit extra in there. But I poured some off before I think I'm finally getting there. I don't mind the metallics being a little bit thicker because they tend to get lost in the paintings if they're too thin. So I don't mind the consistency being a little bit thicker than the others, but I mean before it was just obviously. So here I have a high forming mound, but then at least it's flowing well. And for a metallic, I don't mind that at all, so that it doesn't get lost. It kind of doesn't make sense. So here it is compared to the yellow. It's just kind of a much lower mound, and then it drops down. So there's my colors all mixed up. I'll get this out of the way. I'm going to add some silicone now to my colors, not to the black. I just have the Spot On treadmill oil, and I add 1 drop per ounce of paint. And I have a total of 10 ounces of paint. I really only need like 9. But it was just easier to do 1 to 1 if I did 1 ounce of pouring medium to 1 ounce of paint. So that's what I did. I rounded up instead of rounding down. And I've got about 2 ounces in each, probably a little bit more in the silver now that I added all that. Oh, I got an extra drop in there. C'est la vie. So I've added 2 drops of silicone oil. I'm going to give it a quick little stir. I don't really worry about over mixing the silicone oil. Everybody has their different theories about it, but I do want it to get to the paint on the bottom of the cup too. So some people are just like 1, 2, 3, and then that's it. And I'd rather just kind of get it all the way through if I can. Now, what I want to try and avoid with this is the blue and the yellow being next to each other. I don't want their green to show up in this, which it could with blue and yellow. So I'm going to make sure I don't put them next to one another. So let me think about, I'll probably do 2 layers in my cup. I'll start with like a black, then maybe blue, then maybe silver, yellow, and gray. And then maybe next time I'll mix up the black and yellow. I don't know. I mean the blue and yellow. I'm not sure. So let's give it a go. So I'm going to do about half of my, one more quick stir here because I stirred the others up. Paints tend to thicken up a little as they sit. And I really just want to do about half in there. So I can put 2 layers down so I can get some nice cells. And I wanted to have kind of a light color next to the blue because the blue's next to that black. That's why I might change it up next time so my blue doesn't get lost. And now the gray. And now I might do, I think I might save the black for the top. So now I think I'll do this navy blue next to that gray because I'm afraid that blue and black could give me some cool cells, but I don't want that blue to get lost either. And now the silver. Glub, 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 thick. And now the yellow. And I believe all I've got left now is the black. Get I dump that on top. I'm hopeful that the black and yellow don't get too muddied too, so we'll see. All right, let's see what happens. I'm gonna give it a minute to all drop down. Oh, I didn't put more of the dark gray in. Darn, look at that. I lost track, guys. Dang it. Well, too late now. Somebody was probably screaming at me going, wait, you didn't put the gray, but I didn't hear you. All right. I feel like tapping this doesn't accomplish anything more than pushing the elevator button multiple times will make it car come faster, but I'm just trying to tap it so that all the paint goes down. It's probably all down. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to come down, you know, lift and pull it down here, and then we'll see if I feel like, we'll see what happens. It's a lot of black. It's a lot of black. I'm not sure if I should swipe through so I can get some other colors kind of creep up there. Let's give it a try. let's get our heat. I really want some cells to come up through that black. We'll see. I think it's too thick up there. All right, let's see what happens. I don't want to rush this part either. I want to let this heat activates the cells. And let's just see what happens here. I've got all this gray here, so dang it. I feel like I could come over here and kind of maybe make it tilt off the corners a little easier if I got a wet surface there. Of course, some of my favorite cells are down here, which is close to the edge. I don't want to lose those. I got nothing up there, so I'll probably tilt up there first. I'm going to try one more time, but I just don't think anything's going to come up there. And I don't want to burn my paint, so either it's going to come up a couple cells or not. Probably not. All right. Let's just start walking it to the corners here and see what we get. Not a lot of blue. It's mostly gray and yellow, which is a little sad. Oh, I didn't get over there, so let's get that down. Okay. The yellows really come out to play, but the blue did not. Which makes me a little sad because Batman's a lot of blue. All right, come over here. I'm going to kind of help it over there a little. Okay, so now I think I need to move the paint, the weight of it, down a little more so I can get it over here. Well, this is disappointing. This is not going to be a good Batman pour. That's for sure. And I have to go back and get some more. Let's pull that down. Blue going on. Best laid plans. Didn't really work out. Let's move this back here and move it down over here. You gotta always make sure the weight of the paint's going where you need to tip it. goodness. They certainly did get all stretched out. Maybe I should have kept it even thicker. I'm going to lose all my blue down there. I knew I would because it was too close to the edge. Well, this has turned into more of like a Van Gogh Starry Night. Well, what a bummer. What a disappointment. I'll have to try this one again with much more blue. Maybe in a DC universe. We'll see though. I'll see how it how it dries. And if you picture a big black Batman, it could still be cool. We'll see. I do kind of like the night sky idea over here, maybe. No, I think I would definitely do it that way. All right, well, that's a basic flip cup. It didn't really turn out how I wanted at all. I wanted a lot more of this blue that you see there. But I got a lot of, I did, by tilting off some of that yellow, because there was so much yellow. The yellow, the blue and the silver kind of look cool together here. But I did end up, I ended up tipping off a lot of it. So it really did tend to stretch the cells out. I still have some pretty cool looking cells though down here. So I'll just bring you in for a close-up real quick. And you can be the judge. I would not call it a successful one, but if I'm doing a comic book, and DC Comics are also dark, but it could be cool with like a Batman thing in there. So we'll see. All right, let's come on in. So the blue and the silver really look pretty cool. I had to tilt off a lot of the yellow and the gray to get that blue to stretch out, that dark blue. I wanted more of that bright blue, but not, it's not too bright, but. All right, so I've got some pretty cool cells there. We'll see how it dries because things always tend to dry darker also. They didn't keep their shape because I tilted and tilted and tilted. And maybe because the silver was thicker than the others, it kind of pushed those cells around. So maybe I'll just try it without the silver and then just do the gray, black, blue, and yellow. But there you go. Everything is a learning experience. And it's not what I was looking for, but it's not altogether bad. It could be kind of cool as a background for a Batman emblem logo. I will come back and show you later when it dries and I've painted on it, and we'll see what we see. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have fun painting. Like this video if you would, please, and subscribe to my channel. Awesome. We'll learn together. We'll succeed and fail together. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.